religious values, but today, because blame it on tasaru' al-zaman, maybe, if you like, the acceleration of time, that time speeds up. I don't know, but I've asked people who are above 40. I don't know about you all, I'm not above 40, but those of you all who are above 40, you know yourselves. I asked some of them, they said, Sheikh, after 40 things really speed up. Before that, the day is taking a long time. After 40, the year is like a day. Ajib. So blame it, since it's tasaru al-zaman, blame it on that. Maybe then, because time acceleration, we're seeing change that happens on religious values and social values and family values and other values in a short span that it took hundreds of years maybe in the times of the prophets to unfold. Allah says here in surah, in this ayah on Sayyidina Nuh's behalf, قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ لَيْسَ بِي ضَلَالَةٌ. Nuh alayhi salatu tells them, oh my people. Look, number one, he calls them my people. I know Islam, as you all know, did not come to destroy those who don't believe in it. Islam did not come to hate or institutionalize hate against the persona of people who don't like it. Islam came to offer people hope, growth, and opportunity to the very ones that don't like it as well. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. Those who believe in you, Ya Rasulullah, and those who don't believe in you, they're included in your rahmah. Why? The rahmah of your Lord is not like us. We react to each other. Oftentimes, the nobles don't. What I mean by noble is not blood, Habibi. Nobility is a habit. It's got nothing to do with your race. If there is a few races, I don't think there's any more than one race on earth. If you don't believe me, go to space. And then look at earth, see how many races there are going to be there. But it's got nothing to do much necessarily with blood. It's got to do with the nobility that you acquire, how you refine yourself, how you polish yourself, how you educate yourself, how you elevate your standards, what are the principles that you live by. Therefore, I remind you with al-Muqanna al-Kindi, and I really like his poems or his poetry. That when he was usurped leadership of his tribe, Kinda, Qabila fil Yemen, was a big tribe. He was usurped his leadership by his own cousins. They did all kinds of tricks on him. History repeats itself. History repeats itself. So they usurped the leadership from him because, according to the Arab tribes, the succession of the leader of the tribe goes to the eldest male that's closest in relation to him. That's a standard Arab tribe tradition. Right? So he was poised to become the successor of his father, but his cousins took it. Anyway, he said, وَإِنَّ الَّذِي بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَ بَنِي أَبِي وَبَيْنَ بَنِي عَمِّي لَمُخْتَلِفٌ جِدًّا. That which is the difference between me and what my cousins do is starkly different. The contrast is different. لَمُخْتَلِفٌ جِدًّا. فَإِنْ أَكَلُوا لَحْمِي وَفَرْتُ لُحُومَهُمْ. If they eat my flesh, I protect theirs. وَإِنْ هَدَمُوا مَجْدِي بَنَيْتُ لَهُمْ مَجْدًا. And if they destroy my legacy, I participate in building a legacy for them. وَلَسْتُ أَحْمِلُ الْحِقْدَ الْقَدِيمَ عَلَيْهِمُ. I don't carry that hate in my heart against them. وَلَيْسَ كَرِيمُ الْقَوْمِ مَنْ يَحْمِلُ الْحِقْدَ. For the noble person does not carry hate in his heart. Wallah. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله أليس كريم القوم من يحمل اذهبوا فأنتم الطلقاء ليس كريم القوم من يحمل الحقد. The honorable person does not carry all that stuff in their hearts. That's not who the honorable person is. طيب سيدنا نوح صلوات الله وسلامه عليه, he saw the change in people, and he's trying to tell them, when they try to tell him, your ways are wrong, you're still holding on to these ancient prophetic values that have been there for thousands of years before you, and you claim that they came from God. You're still holding to them. Times have changed. You are misguided. You don't know. You're crazy. He says, Ya qawm laysa bi dalala. Allah says on it, oh people, oh my people. First of all, you're my people. Ya qawm, you are my people. I am not really misguided. Laysa bi dalala. ولكني رسول من رب العالمين. I am commissioned with this message to continue the message of the prophets before me from your creator. Even if you deny your creator, but you have a creator who created you and cares for you and sends you and loves you and forgives you and he's Rabbul Alameen. It's not coincidental and circumstantial. It's created. أبلغكم رسالات ربي. I can't make you believe in what I want or in what I believe. I can't tell you that nobility is important. Believing in the creator of all and the day of judgment is important, not just because of the faith itself, but the consequence of this faith that should make you actually stand corrected every single day before your creator for what you do. Because if you believe in a creator and you think and you think you can get away with evil, wrong, no matter how small or big it is, then your problem is not that you do evil. Your problem is that you may be doubting the justice of your creator that you believe in. You gotta be careful. The issue is not an issue of akhlaq here anymore. The issue is an issue of faith now. That's why Allah Azza wa Jal said في القرآن الكريم, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم, يا أيها الذين آمنوا من يرتد منكم عن دينه فسوف يأتي الله بقوم يحبهم. O you who believe, if you abandon your faith and neglect it and leave it, Allah will replace you by people whom He loves, and they love Him. So the issue is never when people say, I leave Islam, I come into Islam, I don't like Islam. The issue is all, Al-Quran Kareem puts the issue is all about love. If there is love, love will bring you to your creator, the all-loving Al-Wadud. If there is no love, you're going to be struggling until you find love. Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam tells them, I am just delivering you a message from my Lord. وَأَنصَحُ لَكُمْ, and I actually am giving you advice. And nasiha really is not advice. Nasiha is transparency. Why? Well, because sometimes giving advice is difficult. First of all, people don't like to get advice. I mean, few people wise people like to get advice. Hearing advice is heavy in the ear, especially if it's constructive. I'm not talking about destructive. Destructive advice is not advice. Destructive advice is defamation. As a Shafi'i says to al-Rabi', Shafi'i says to his student, he says, let me tell you, النصيحة بين الناس فضيحة. If you're trying to give advice, criticize people publicly, you're not trying to give them advice. It's called defamation. You're trying to defame them. We understand that. Nobody's stupid here. Advice, though, be constructive. Tell you this is what Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam did. This is what before him the Anbiya. This is what Musa wa Isa wa Muhammad salawatullahi wa salamu alayhim did. This is what they all fought for. So they connect the creation to their creator, and then they also create this ideal society as much as possible within society that stand for that which is right, that they command the good, enjoin the good, forbid and prohibit the evil, that they become brothers of each others as human beings. لِتَعَارَفُوا, they get to know each other, they get to forgive each other when they transgress upon each other. This is what happened to all the Anbiya and all the awliya, Sahaba, wa Tabi'een, wa Ahlul Bayt, wa Hussein, all of them. What do you think they spent their lives for and died for? الحديث حسن في بابه, let's say, إنما بعثت لأتمم صالح الأخلاق. وفي لفظ رواية مكارم الأخلاق. The makarim is slightly weaker than the salih lafz. But anyway, I was sent but to perfect the standard of refinement, akhlaq, refinement. Nasiha. The same message goes until today. Be observant of your Creator. Remember Him. Thank Him. Glorify His name. If you're absent from Him, He's not absent from you. If you're distant from Him, He's not distant from you. Unveil yourself. Doing the wrong thing is not right, even if shaitan tells you it's right, even if there's instant gratification for that. That's the nasiha. Transparency. That's what the Prophets ﷺ lived. Doing the wrong thing will never get you, you will never get away with it. There's no such thing. And it's not the best outcome. Stand for that which is right. Teach your children principles. Teach yourself principles. Live by those principles. Like al-Muqanna, that's what grows society. I'll finish with this quickly. 20 minutes, right? We started 30. Yeah, 50. Are we done? Huh? 8 more minutes? Sorry, okay. So let me tell you, I lost track of time. The Prophets ﷺ lived and died, if you want to say the word died, yani, for that transparency that they have passed on to us. That's why the blood of a lot of prophets was spilled on this earth. Most of them indeed. That's why the Muslihin, right, Sahaba, wa Ahlul Bayt, etc. That's what they spent their life on. It's not the rhetoric. It's not the words and the rituals. It's the actual transformative process that a faithful person, a person of faith, actually adopts and lives by. It's the transformation rather than the information. And that transformation is what you'll find in this life and in the next life. You all know Hadith al-Bukhari Muslim on those 3 people that when the rock was closed down the whole thing for them. And they all scavenged their whole life to see if there's one selfless deed that their conscientiousness of Allah transformed them to do. Right? Their information about Allah transformed them actually to do. And if you look at all these 3 deeds, while they're absolutely co-religious, they're all akhlaqi. He stood before his parents the whole night, waiting for them when they went to sleep to give them that glass of milk to drink. They're used to him giving them that glass of drink before they go to sleep, but now they went to sleep. But he did not want to sleep. He stood the whole night waiting with the glass of milk in his hand until his parents woke up in the morning and he said, I'm sorry I came late, here's the glass of milk. He said, Ya Allah, if you knew I did that entirely for your sake, selflessly, then alleviate our difficulty. And Allah did. It's akhlaq, ladies and gentlemen, my dear beloved brothers and sisters. No, I'm going to say ladies and gentlemen. The other one, obviously, about adultery. The other one about etc., etc. You look at that, you see what? You see lots of transformation, not talk. Nobody cares about talk. Shaitan has more information than many people, than most people, in fact. Nobody's impressed by info. It's a transformation that information, if it's genuine, then yields to. Therefore, I'll tell you the story in the last 5 minutes about how simple it is for us to sometimes oversee a transparency passed on to us by the Prophets ﷺ, and how important this very piece of advice could be for our salvation, our success in this dunya and in the hereafter as well. Ahmad Shawqi, the Egyptian poet, has a diwan called the Shawqiyat. Yani he writes his Shawqiyat in it, right? In his diwan al-Shawqiyat, he speaks about a crow named Nudur. Yani imagine your story. You know how poets are. Poets are, they look at small thing and they make it the biggest thing, right? And they make up stories. And they see the flower speaking to them. And they see that, you know, the flower, the red rose juiced its color and put it in the cheeks of their beloved woman. I mean, you know, they go crazy like that stuff. And they look at the moon and they think it's the face of their Layla. Well, Layla did not make it to the moon. Oh, like the Ghazali poet says, وَكُلٌّ يَدَّعِي وَصْلًا بِلَيْلَى وَلَيْلَى لَا تُقِرُّ لَهُمْ بِذَاكَ. Ay wallah. Everybody claims Layla loves him, and Layla doesn't even recognize him, doesn't know who he is. فهذا أحمد شوقي, he says in his شوقيات, he says كان للغربان في العصر مليك. The crows had a kingdom in the old days, he says. And obviously, if the crows have a kingdom, the most important thing about a kingdom is who? Yeah, obviously, the people don't matter, right? The king matter. كان للغربان في العصر مليك له في النخلة الكبرى أريك. In the biggest palm tree in the land, that's where the empire of the crows, of those blackbirds, that's when they had their kingdom. Right? On the biggest palm tree. فيه كرسي وخضر ومهود لصغار الملك أصحاب العهود. What's in that palace that's built on this biggest palm tree? The most important thing, kursi. Right? That's what we fight about all the time. The kursi, the kursi, the kursi. And you know, and who is going to be on the kursi, and let's shed all the blood over the kursi and wage all wars in the world for the kursi. And this kursi, I don't know where it's taking the humanity. I'm not just talking Muslims, non-Muslims, and everyone. The whole world wars are about the kursi. Not Ayatul Kursi. The kursi. Don't get confused here. He says, فيه كرسي وخضر ومهود. In this palace of the king of the crows had a kursi, obviously, the throne. وخضر ومهود, and places for the very important people next to the king to sit. لصغار الملك أصحاب العهود, those people who are close, the close circle of the king. لكن he says, Shawqi says, as usual, every king has a confidant that you don't know. There's more informants in the palace of the king than there are followers. And usually you don't know who they are. He says, one of them is the khadim of this king. The khadim of the kings, there's a confidentiality agreement that's unspoken. I don't see, I don't hear, I don't talk. Summum bukmun um. The only time they open their eyes, ears, and talk is if the king asks them. Otherwise, the name of the khadim of the king of the crows is another fellow crow. His name is Nudur. So Shawqi said, جاءه يوما ندور الخادم. One day, knock on the door of the king. Who is coming? Nudur al-Khadim. وهو في الباب الأمين الحازم. He's always at the door. He's Amin, trustworthy, firm. He knows what the king wants. He does what the king wants. It doesn't matter of anybody else. Ministers come and go. Nudur never leaves. Administrations come and go. Nudur is always there. He's the guy who's embedded deeply. Never leaves. جاءه يوما ندور الخادم وهو في الباب الأمين الحازم قال يا فرع الملوك الصالحين أنت ما زلت تحب الناصحين. يا سلام. He says, oh king, son or offspring of righteous kings before you. Your grandfather was a good king. Your father was a great king. Your great-grandfather. You have always taught us that you appreciate those who come selfless in their advice to you. Look at that. When you want to give advice, the art of giving advice from the crow. You've taught us that you appreciate a selfless advice. جاءه يوما ندور الخادم وهو في الباب الأمين الحازم قال يا فرع الملوك الصالحين أنت ما زلت تحب الناصحين. What do you want يا ندور؟ سوسة كانت على القصر تدور جاوزت القصر ودبت في الجذور فابعث الغربان في إهلاكها قبل أن نهلك في أشراكها. Your Majesty, I saw a termite. Nudur is watching, not only inside, outside. I saw a termite, an ant coming around, surveilling our big palm tree. It left the palm tree and went straight to the roots. فَابْعَثِ الْغِرْبَانِ. Send your royal air force, the Ghirban, all the crows. Send them after it before we all perish because of what it's doing. ضحك السلطان من هذا المقال. The Sultan started laughing from what was said. وَدَعَى خَادِمَ الْخَيْرِ وَقَالَ. He knows he's a good man. This Nudur is a good man. He says, come here. وقال أنا السلطان الضافي الجناح أنا الملك غلاب الرياح. I am the Sultan. Look at how strong my wings are. I am the one that's powerful. Look at my beak. I overcome any wind and any storm. What are you talking? The biggest storms, I overcome them. أنا لا أنظر في هذه الأمور. أنا لا أنظر تحتي يا ندور. لا أبصر تحتي يا ندور. I don't bother in these small things. أنا لا أبصر تحتي يا ندور. I do not bother by looking at things that are beneath me. Right? Let's fast forward quickly because I'm 3 minutes over. ثم لما كان عام بعد عام, Shawqi says, then year after year, قام بين الريح والنخل خصام. Usually, he says, there became a conflict between the wind and the palm tree. Before, when the winds come to the palm tree was rooted and it would enjoy the breeze. Now the winds come and the roots have been eaten by the termites, and the palm tree is not really happy about the winds. Now they have a little conflict. Don't come, you wind. You're shaking me here. It's dangerous. وإذا النخلة أهوى جذعها فبدا للريح سهلا قلعها. And then when it became very weak, a storm came and uprooted the whole palm tree. فهوت إلى الأرض كالتل الكبير وهوى الديوان وانقض السرير. And it fell all on the ground, and the palace fell with it, and the kursi and everything fell with it. ودها السلطان ذا الخطب المهول. And the Sultan now became alarmed. What's happening? ونادى خادم الخير يقول, and he called on Nudur, يا ندور الخير أسعف بالصياح ما ترى ما فعلت فينا الرياح. Oh good Nudur, hurry up, do something. Don't you see what the storms have done to us? قال يا مولاي لا تسأل ندور أنا لا أنظر في هذه الأمور. Your Majesty, don't ask me now. I told you a long time ago, and you told me you don't bother with insignificant things. Well, you don't ask me now, because I don't bother with insignificant things. What the prophets have told us is not simply an advice so we can live having our values vis-a-vis the Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala, our family values, our society values. It's not something for survival skills in this dunya. This advice will save you on the dunya and the akhirah. When all this is over, and you're not fooled by the span of time where things are unfolding so quickly that you can't grasp. Look at Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salatu wassalam. Ya qawmi ma bi min dalala. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm not misguided. إنما أنا رسول من رب العالمين. I am just passing on the message from the Lord of the worlds. I أبلغكم. I teach you what my lords have taught me. وأنصح لكم. And I give you that advice, that transparency advice. وأعلم من الله ما لا تعلمون. Don't be fooled. Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam tells them, for I know from Allah that which you do not know. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا كما أمر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إرغاما لمن جحد به وكفر. أشهد أن سيدنا محمدا صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم الشفيع المشفع في المحشر. صلى اللهم عليه وعلى آله أهل الفقه والنظر والعلم والأثر، وعلى من بآثاره مقتفى واهتدى واعتبر. عباد الله، اتقوا الله العظيم حق تقواه، راقبوه مراقبة من يعلم ويعتقد بأنه يراه. تزودوا من دنياكم لآخرتكم عملا يحبه ويرضاه. اعلموا أنه لا يضر وينفع ويعطي ويمنع ويصل ويقطع ويخفض ويرفع إلا الله. واعلموا أن الله تعالى أمركم بأمر بدأ فيه بنفسه وثنى بملائكة قدسه. قال تعالى: ولم يزل قائلا عليما: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم. بارك على محمد وآل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين، أعلي يا مولانا كلمة الحق والدين. اللهم من أراد بالإسلام والمسلمين خيرا فوفقه إليه، من أراد بهم غير ذلك فاهده يا ربنا سواء السبيل. آت أنفسنا تقواها، زكها أنت خير من زكاها، أنت وليها ومولاها. اشف اللهم مرضانا، عاف مبتلانا، فك أسرانا، ارحم موتانا، اغفر اللهم لنا ولوالدينا ومشايخنا من له حق علينا، لمن على الخير أعاننا وعن الشر أبعدنا، ولمن أوصانا بالدعاء، ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات، إنك يا ربنا سميع قريب مجيب للدعوات. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على محمد وآله. أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة، قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استووا واستقيموا. الله أكبر. وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. فذكر إنما أنت مذكر، لست عليهم بمسيطر إلا من تولى وكفر فيعذبه الله العذاب الأكبر إن إلينا إيابهم ثم إن علينا حسابهم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى. الله أكبر. السلام عليك أيها النبي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.